Welcome everyone. Today we are talking about something very important. We are going to discuss exactly how to learn English at home. When people start their language journey, they often feel a heavy sense of doubt. Many people think, I need a teacher. I need a big, expensive course. I need to go outside to a real school. They believe that the magic of learning only happens in a formal classroom. But I am here to tell you that this is not true. No, you can build strong English from your own room if you follow the right system. In this video, I will show you practical methods that actually work. We will not talk about boring theory, and we will not focus on complicated grammar rules. Instead, we will look at real steps you can use every single day at home. If you use these steps correctly and patiently, your English will improve slowly, steadily, and confidently. Let's start with trick 1. Build a simple daily routine. A routine is a habit, something you do regularly without needing to think hard about it. This is exactly where most learners fail. They fail because they study randomly. One day they might feel highly motivated and study for 2 long hours, but the next day they do nothing, and then they take a 1-week break. That is not learning. That is confusion. English improves through repetition, and repetition needs strong structure. So, you must build a very simple daily routine. It should not be complicated, and it should not be stressful. Keep it simple, like 20 minutes of listening, 20 minutes of reading, and 20 minutes of speaking. That is just 1 hour. That's it. But the secret is, you must do it every day, at the same time, and in the same place. Why is time and place so important? Because your brain loves patterns. When you study at the same time daily, something powerful happens inside your mind. Your brain stops resisting and starts preparing automatically, just like when you feel hungry at the exact same time every day because your body gets used to it. The same happens with learning. Consistency reduces mental resistance, and when resistance reduces, your improvement naturally increases. Remember this truth. Fluency is not built in one powerful session. It is built quietly in 100 small sessions. Imagine 2 different people. Person A studies for 5 exhausting hours, but only once a week. Person B studies for just 1 hour, but does it daily. After 30 days, person B completely wins. This happens because the brain remembers repeated exposure much better than long, irregular exposure. Your brain builds English pathways slowly. Daily repetition strengthens those invisible pathways. That is how fluency grows, not suddenly, but gradually. Don't say, I will study 4 hours daily. That sounds powerful, but it is not sustainable. Instead, look in the mirror and say, I will study 1 hour daily for 90 days. It is a small promise, but it creates big results. If you only follow this first trick seriously, your English will already start changing. Routine creates discipline. Discipline creates progress. Progress creates confidence. And confidence is the fuel that makes you continue. Now that you have your daily routine, we must protect your motivation. This brings us to trick 2. Track progress weekly. This is the ultimate system that keeps you from quitting. Let me share a secret with you. Most English learners do not fail because they are not smart. They fail because they cannot see their own progress. And when you cannot see progress, your brain automatically thinks this is not working. When that negative thought enters your mind, your motivation drops, your consistency drops, your confidence drops, and then, sadly, you stop completely. But here's the beautiful truth. English improvement is happening silently. Every single day you practice, your brain is absorbing patterns. Your ears are recognizing new sounds. Your tongue is physically adjusting to strange new words. Your sentence speed is actually improving, but because the changes are so tiny, it feels completely invisible. That is why weekly tracking is so incredibly powerful. Tracking turns invisible growth into visible proof, and having proof creates deep belief. If you check yourself every single day, you will feel disappointed because the progress in one single day is simply too small to notice. But if you check just once a week, now the difference becomes noticeable. This is exactly how the human brain works. Growth is slow daily. Growth is visible weekly. Growth is impressive monthly. So your learning system must perfectly match how the brain improves. To do this, we use 3 layers of tracking. Layer 1 is weekly speaking evidence. Every Sunday, take your phone and record yourself speaking for exactly 3 minutes. Do not do any preparation, just choose one simple topic. It could be my daily routine, what I learned this week, my opinion about success, or why I want to learn English. Speak naturally. Don't stop. Don't restart the recording. Don't worry about correcting your mistakes. Just speak continuously. Then listen to last week's recording. You will suddenly notice fewer pauses, faster thinking, better pronunciation, less fear, and a more natural flow. This direct comparison builds massive confidence because now your brain clearly sees, I am improving. And once your brain believes improvement is happening, it cooperates more. Layer 2 is the error awareness check. While you are carefully listening to your own recording, ask yourself honest questions. Where did I pause too much? Where did I repeat words? Where did I deeply struggle to express an idea? Write those specific moments down. You do not write them down to feel bad about yourself. You write them down to train smarter. For example, if you paused because you didn't know the right vocabulary, next week you focus your energy on vocabulary. If you paused because you lost your sentence structure, next week you practice speaking longer sentences. Tracking gives you a clear direction. Without tracking, you are simply guessing in the dark. Layer 3 is confidence measurement. Ask yourself weekly, did I speak more confidently this week? Did I speak louder? Did I think faster? Did I hesitate less? Remember, confidence is also a form of progress, not just perfect grammar. Sometimes your grammar improves very slowly, but your confidence improves quickly. That matters greatly because confidence directly leads to fluency. When you track your progress weekly, you finally stop comparing yourself to other people. You start comparing yourself only to your past version. And that small change changes everything. Instead of thinking, they speak better than me, you proudly think, I speak better than I did last month. That positive mindset builds long-term consistency. If you record yourself for just 4 weeks, you will hear the journey. Week 1, hesitation. Week 2, slight improvement. Week 3, noticeable flow. Week 4, clear difference. After 90 days, your past recording will sound like a completely different person. And that is when real confidence begins. Not because someone praised you, but because you clearly heard your own growth. Tracking is not about judging yourself strictly. It is about respecting your own hard effort enough to measure it. When you learn at home, you have no teacher, so you become your own teacher. There is no exam, so you create your own evaluation. There is no one pushing you, so you must monitor yourself. That is exactly how serious learners grow. Now, we move to trick 3. Build a daily active speaking system. Listen carefully to this next truth. You can listen to English for years. You can read thick books for years. You can watch hundreds of videos for years. But if you don't actually speak, you will never feel truly fluent. Fluency is not just understanding what others say. Fluency is production. Production means creating the words yourself, using your own voice. And production requires daily speaking. You must do this even when you are alone, and especially when you are alone. Why is this so important? Because your brain has 2 very different systems. System 1 is passive knowledge, which is what you easily understand. System 2 is active ability, which is what you can actually say out loud. Most learners only build their passive knowledge. They understand English, they enjoy English movies, and they recognize English words. But when it is time to open their mouth and speak, there is only silence. Why does this happen? Because understanding is not the same as speaking. Speaking is a physical skill, just like playing a sport or a musical instrument. It involves the muscles of your mouth, your tongue, your breathing, your speed, and your sentence organization. All of that physical movement must be trained, and that training must happen daily. Now I will give you a beautifully structured system, not just random talking. You will divide your speaking into 4 specific parts every single day with no excuses. First is daily life commentary for 5 to 10 minutes. This is simple but incredibly powerful. Talk about what you are doing out loud. For example, as you stand in the kitchen, say, I am making tea right now. The water is boiling. I am adding sugar. Or, today I feel a little tired because I slept late. It sounds basic, but this does something deeply important. It connects English directly to your real life. You stop translating from your native language and you start thinking directly in English. This builds automaticity. Automaticity means doing something naturally, without thinking hard. Automatic thinking creates real fluency. Do this daily, even if your sentences are simple, because simple sentences build complex confidence. Second is the retelling system for 10 minutes. After watching any short video or reading something interesting, close it. Now, explain it out loud. Do not try to be perfect. Just explain it in your own words. For example, I watched a video about discipline. The speaker said motivation is temporary. He explained that consistency is more important. This exercise trains sentence connection, idea organization, memory recall, and speaking without preparation. Fluency is not memorizing sentences like a robot. Fluency is organizing your thoughts quickly, and retelling builds that mental muscle. Third is question-answer simulation for 10 minutes. Simulation means creating a pretend situation that feels real. Now you simulate real conversation. Ask yourself difficult questions and answer them immediately. For example, ask, "What are my goals?" Answer, "My goal is to improve my English and become confident." Ask, "What is the biggest problem in my country?" Answer, "I think unemployment is a major issue." This builds quick thinking, opinion expression, and real conversation ability. You are training your brain to respond fast under pressure, which is the secret to real fluency. Finally, the mirror confidence drill for 5 minutes. Stand quietly in front of a mirror in your room. Look deeply into your own eyes. Speak clearly, not too fast, not too quiet. Clear, slow, confident. Here, you train eye contact, body language, facial expression, and voice stability. Confidence is not only about the words you choose. It is your posture, your tone of voice, and your breathing. If you look confident when you are alone, you will look confident when you step outside. This system attacks all your speaking weaknesses: fear, slow thinking, translation, low confidence, and poor flow. And it fixes them not in one day, but daily. Remember, consistency beats intensity. The first week, you will feel uncomfortable. The second week, you will feel slightly faster. The third week, you will notice smoother sentences. The fourth week, you will feel more natural. After 90 days, speaking feels normal, not scary, not stressful. And that feeling of normal is fluency. Many people wait for someone to talk to. They wait for the perfect opportunity, or they wait for confidence. Don't wait. Create the environment yourself. Your room can become your classroom. Your mirror can become your audience. Your voice can become your teacher. If you speak 20 minutes daily for 90 days, that is 30 whole hours of active speaking. Most learners don't even have 5 hours of real speaking practice in their entire lives. That's exactly why they feel stuck. Fluency is practice volume, daily repetition, and a structured system. It is not about talent, and it is not about intelligence. Now that you have a system for speaking alone, let's solve the biggest challenge of all. This brings us to trick 4, practice with ChatGPT. Let's be completely honest with each other. One of the biggest problems when learning English at home is this deep feeling of isolation. You look around your quiet room and realize you don't have someone to talk to. You have no partner, no professional teacher, no native speaker, and absolutely no one to correct your mistakes when you are wrong. So what usually happens? You study hard, you listen carefully, and you read a lot, but you don't practice real conversation. That is exactly where ChatGPT becomes incredibly powerful. If you use this amazing technology correctly, it can become your 24/7 English speaking partner. 24/7 means 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It is always awake and always ready. It can become your speaking partner, your writing corrector, your vocabulary builder, your grammar explainer, and your personal confidence trainer. But here is the danger. Most people use it wrongly. They treat it like a simple dictionary. They only read the answers it gives them, but they don't interact. The word interact is essential here. It means to communicate, to give and take, and to actively respond to someone. You must use it actively. ChatGPT is not just a tool for asking simple questions. It is a powerful space for practicing English, but you must deeply treat it like a human conversation partner, not like Google. You don't just read, You respond, you speak, you think, and you interact. How do you do this? Open ChatGPT and type this exact message. Let's have a conversation. Ask me simple questions. Correct my mistakes gently. Age. When it asks you a question, answer every question fully, not with short one-line answers. Write 5 to 6 full sentences. But here is the secret step. If possible, speak your answers out loud in your room before you start typing them. Then, carefully check the corrections it gives you. This builds real-time thinking, sentence formation, vocabulary usage, and deep confidence. You are simulating a real conversation, but entirely without pressure. And the best part is, you can do this anytime, in the early morning, late at night, or during your break time. ChatGPT never gets tired. It never judges you, and it never laughs at your mistakes. Knowing this instantly removes your fear of speaking. You can also use it to improve your daily speaking recordings. Ask it, give me 5 speaking topics. I will speak for 2 minutes on each. Now record yourself speaking. After you finish, type to ChatGPT, here is what I said. Please improve it. It will show you how to get better sentence structure, improve vocabulary, and give you clear corrections. This is powerful because you bravely speak first and then you improve. That is exactly how fluency grows, not by simply copying others, but by producing your own words and refining them. Refining means taking something good and making it smoother, cleaner, and better. Many learners are terribly afraid of making grammar mistakes. Because of this heavy fear, they simply stop speaking. Instead of stopping, use ChatGPT as your safe, quiet corrector. Type something like, correct my grammar but keep my sentences simple. When you see the results, you will realize that your ideas are actually very good. You will see that only your sentence structure needs small fixes. That realization builds massive confidence because you suddenly realize, I am not bad at English. I just need a little polishing. Polishing is like rubbing a dirty stone until it becomes a shiny diamond. That positive mindset changes everything. You can also use it to build your vocabulary naturally. Instead of painfully memorizing 50 difficult words from a boring list, do this. Ask, give me 5 useful daily words and ask me to use them in sentences. Then ask the AI, are these natural? And let it improve them. This teaches you the real use of the language, not just blind memorization. Remember, fluency depends absolutely on using words naturally in real life, not just knowing their cold dictionary meanings. This method is extremely powerful. Finally, you can practice for big life moments. Ask it, let's do a job interview roleplay, or act like a foreign friend meeting me for the very first time. Now, respond naturally as if it were a real person. This builds confidence, real conversation flow, and practical English. You are practicing highly stressful, real-life situations safely at home without any pressure and without any embarrassment. Don't only read ChatGPT answers. Respond, interact, deeply think, and speak aloud before typing. Turn this digital screen into an active practice tool. If you only read, your improvement will be very slow. If you actively engage, your improvement becomes incredibly fast. Why? Because this single tool removes 3 big problems at once: having no speaking partner, the heavy fear of judgment, and the lack of feedback. ChatGPT brilliantly solves all 3. But remember this truth, the discipline is still completely yours. Technology helps, but consistency transforms. If you do 15 minutes of conversation, 10 minutes of correction, and 5 minutes of vocabulary practice, that is exactly 30 minutes. In 90 days, you will have 45 hours of highly structured English practice. That is serious, professional-level training. Most learners out there don't even reach 10 total hours, which is exactly why they stay average. Never forget, ChatGPT will not magically make you fluent. Your daily speaking will. ChatGPT is merely the tool. You are the hard-working builder. If you treat it seriously, it becomes your best practice partner. If you use it casually, it just becomes another distraction, another app on your phone. The only difference between success and failure is your discipline. We have talked about routines, tracking, speaking, and using technology. Now let's move to trick 5. Become the person who uses English every day. Learning English at home is not only about practice. It is deeply about how you see yourself. Look into the mirror and ask yourself, who are you? If you keep thinking, my English is weak, or I am not confident, or if you constantly tell yourself, I am just a beginner, your brain completely accepts that label. A label is a name or a tag that you put on yourself. And once your brain accepts a label, it behaves according to it. If you believe you are bad at English, you will naturally hesitate more. So, if you want to learn English at home seriously, you must slowly change the way you see yourself. This is not about having fake confidence, and it is not about pretending. It is about a gradual identity shift. Gradual means something happening slowly, step by step, and identity is who you deeply believe you are. Instead of saying, I am trying to learn English, you must start saying, I practice English daily. There's a massive psychological difference between these two phrases. Trying feels temporary. Practicing feels serious. Trying feels optional, like something you can choose to skip. Practicing feels committed, like a heavy promise you made to yourself. When you proudly say, I practice daily, your brain starts expecting consistency from you. And when you miss a day of practice, you actually feel it deeply because it doesn't match who you are becoming. That feeling is incredibly powerful. To build this new identity at home, start living small parts of your day in English. When you wake up in the quiet morning, think, what is my plan today? Do not think this in your native language. Think it in English. When you stand in the kitchen and prepare food, think to yourself, I am cutting vegetables. I need more salt. This tastes good. When you walk outside, look at the sky and think, the weather is nice. I feel energetic today. This may feel like a very small thing, but it builds something very important. It connects English directly to real life. Not to heavy textbooks, not to stressful exams, but to real life. When English connects to daily life, it becomes natural. And when something becomes natural, fluency grows automatically. You should also start writing small daily things in English. Write your shopping list, your personal goals, your reminders, and your weekly plans. You can even write short, simple notes like, call friend at 6 p.m. These are small changes, but they loudly tell your brain, English is not a subject. English is part of my routine, and that beautiful realization removes mental distance. Many normal learners treat English like a completely separate world, but fluent speakers treat English simply like a normal tool. That massive shift in thinking happens safely at home, not in a loud class. Another vitally important thing you must do is stop speaking negatively about your English. Many learners make nervous jokes like this. My English is very bad. Don't laugh at my English. I can't speak properly. Every single time you say that out loud, even jokingly, your brain stores it. Your brain does not understand humor or jokes. It only understands repetition. If you repeat words of weakness, it builds a foundation of weakness. So, strictly change your internal language. Tell yourself, I am improving every day. My sentences are becoming smoother. I am getting more comfortable speaking. You don't need to lie to yourself. You simply need to focus on your progress, because progress is completely real, even if it is slow. Now, let's go deeper into your daily behavior. People who truly improve at home do something very simple. They stop asking. They stop asking themselves, should I study today? Instead, they decide. They say, I study every day. When an action becomes a final decision, not a question, your discipline naturally increases. Think about it. If brushing your teeth was completely optional, you would sometimes skip it. But it is deeply part of who you are and how you live. So you don't debate it. You just do it. English practice must become exactly like that. It should not be a daily debate, but a daily standard. When you practice daily, even for just 30 to 60 minutes for 60 to 90 days, something magical changes inside you. You finally stop feeling like a beginner. You start feeling familiar with English. Familiar means it feels friendly and well known to you. Words come faster to your tongue. Ideas form faster in your mind. Confidence increases. And this happens not because someone miraculously gave you confidence. It happens because your steady repetition created comfort. Comfort creates confidence, and confidence creates real fluency. At home, no one is controlling you. No one is grading you with red pens. No one is forcing you to sit at your desk. That is your greatest advantage because now your growth absolutely depends on your own discipline, not on external pressure. And when growth successfully comes from self-discipline, it lasts much longer. That is the definition of real independence. Here is a small daily exercise you can start tonight. Before sleeping, sitting quietly on your bed, speak for 1 minute in English about your day. Just one single minute. It does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be honest. Do this faithfully for 30 days, and you will feel a shift in your mind. After 60 days, you will definitely notice smoother speaking. After 90 days, you will not feel like the exact same person, because daily action shapes your identity, and your identity directly shapes your results. Remember, at home, you are not alone. You are completely in control. You decide your daily exposure. You decide your daily routine. You decide your practice volume. And if you choose daily action over weak excuses, English will slowly stop feeling difficult. It will start feeling familiar. And once English feels familiar to you, fluency finally becomes possible. Now that your mindset is completely ready, we must give you the exact daily plan. This brings us to trick 6. Follow a daily 60-minute plan. Most learners fail at home for one specific, deeply frustrating reason. They study randomly. One day they enthusiastically study heavy grammar. The next day they try to memorize vocabulary. Then they spend hours watching videos without speaking a single word. And then they do absolutely nothing for 3 whole days. That is not a learning system. That is just confusion. Real fluency requires strong, unbreakable structure. So, instead of waking up and asking yourself, "What should I study today?" you simply follow the exact same structured 60-minute framework daily. A framework is a clear, solid plan that holds everything together. When you have a framework, there is no thinking and no guessing. There is just execution. Execution means taking action and simply doing the work without debating it. You don't need to study for 4 to 5 exhausting hours. You only need focused repetition. Think about the math of consistency. 1 hour daily equals 30 hours per month. After 3 months, that equals 90 hours of deep practice. Most average learners don't even have 20 hours of serious speaking practice in their entire lives. Remember, consistency always beats sudden intensity. To make this 1 hour incredibly powerful, you divide it into 4 equal parts: 15 minutes of listening, 15 minutes of reading, 15 minutes of speaking, and 15 minutes of speaking, and 15 minutes of writing. Each part trains a completely different fluency muscle, and together they elegantly build complete English ability. Let's break them down slowly. First, 15 minutes of listening. This is to build natural language patterns. Listening is not a passive activity. Passive means sitting quietly and doing nothing. True listening is highly active. It is training your complex brain to recognize rhythm, correct pronunciation, and beautiful sentence structure. Choose short, engaging videos that are 3 to 5 minutes long. Watch with deep focus, replay the difficult parts, and notice exactly how sentences are magically connected. Pay close attention to the speaker's tone and speed. Do not just watch the screen. Listen actively. Ask yourself, what words did I hear repeatedly? How did they start the sentence? How did they boldly express their opinion? Listening carefully builds subconscious patterns in your mind. When you hear correct English daily, your brain copies it naturally. You don't painfully memorize. You gently absorb the language like a dry sponge in water. Second, 15 minutes of reading. This is to build your vocabulary and sentence structure. Reading builds deep mental clarity. But you must choose simple material. Do not choose difficult, heavy novels, and do not choose complicated academic articles. Read short articles, simple online blogs, or short, entertaining stories. While you are quietly reading, use a pen to underline useful phrases. Notice the sentence patterns. And most importantly, learn words in context. Context means the other words and sentences that surround a new word, giving it its true meaning. Do not memorize long, boring word lists. Instead of trying to learn the single word determine, learn the full sentence. I determined to improve my English. Why? Because sentences build fluency, while single words only build confusion. Reading strengthens your powerful sentence-building ability. Third, 15 minutes of speaking. This is the magic moment where real fluency is built. There is absolutely no skipping this part. Even if you feel nervous or uncomfortable, use this exact structure. 5 minutes to talk freely about your day, 5 minutes to retell what you just listened to, and 5 minutes to answer random questions. Speak out loud, not silently in your mind, but loudly in your room. Your mouth muscles must physically practice the movements. Your brain must boldly organize ideas quickly. If you only read and listen, you simply become a good understander. But if you bravely speak daily, you become a powerful communicator. Fluency lives directly in the mouth. Fourth, 15 minutes of writing. This is to organize your messy thinking. Writing is beautiful because it slows your fast brain down. That slowing down is very good because it forces mental clarity. Clarity means everything becomes clear, clean, and easy to understand. Write a small, simple paragraph daily. For example, write, "Today I practiced English for 1 hour. I learned 3 new phrases. I struggled with pronunciation, but improved after repeating." Writing deeply improves your grammar awareness, your sentence structure, and your logical thinking. It also silently strengthens your speaking because clear thinking naturally leads to clear speaking. This 60-minute framework attacks all areas of language. Listening gives you input, reading gives you vocabulary and structure, speaking gives you fluency, and writing gives you clarity. Most average learners only painfully focus on one single area, but balanced practice creates much faster, stronger results. Do this at the same time daily, with no phone distractions, no skipping the speaking part, and no heavy pressure to be perfect. Simple, calm repetition is the ultimate secret. Remember the timeline. The first week, you will feel slight discomfort. The second week, slight improvement. The third week, much faster thinking. The fourth week, a noticeable confidence increase. After 90 days, you will feel completely different. You will not be perfect, but you will be deeply comfortable. Comfort directly leads to confidence, and confidence directly leads to fluency. When you follow this beautiful plan daily, something vitally important happens inside your mind. You completely stop depending on motivation. Instead, you boldly depend on structure. And structure is infinitely stronger than human emotion. If you study only when you feel highly motivated, your progress will be painfully slow. But if you study daily by strict routine, your incredible progress is absolutely guaranteed. We have successfully built your daily routine, and we have beautifully structured your 60-minute practice. Now, we must completely fix how you actually speak. This brings us to trick 7. Focus on simple English. If you truly want to speak English fluently at home, you must deeply understand one golden rule. Fluency is absolutely not about big, heavy words. Fluency is about smooth, unbroken speaking. Many unhappy learners think, if I use difficult, advanced vocabulary, I will immediately sound fluent and smart. But what actually happens in their brain when they try to do this? They intensely search for the perfect words. Because they heavily search, they naturally pause. Because they pause, they nervously forget. Because they forget, they rapidly lose confidence. And finally, they completely stop speaking. So they quietly know English inside their mind, but they simply can't use English in the real world. That is the massive hidden problem. Using simple English beautifully fixes this problem. Why? Because simple English is incredibly fast. Speed naturally creates a smooth flow, and flow safely creates deep confidence, and confidence effortlessly creates real fluency. Simple does not mean bad. Simple means effective. Simple English has 3 big, undeniable powers. 1. You can speak much faster because your brain doesn't have to think too much. 2. You logically make far fewer mistakes because simple grammatical structures are much easier to control. 3. Other people understand you very easily. And when other people clearly understand you without confusion, your inner confidence naturally grows. This is the real ultimate goal of human communication, not to deeply impress, but to clearly express. Impress means trying to make people admire you by showing off your big vocabulary, but express means proudly sharing your true thoughts, your honest feelings, and your real opinions with the world. So, how do we correctly use simple English? Remember, simple English absolutely does not mean baby English. It proudly means clear words, short sentences, and highly direct meaning. For example, instead of awkwardly saying, "I would like to articulate my perspective regarding this matter," you simply say, "I want to share my opinion about this." It has the exact same meaning, but it is far more natural, much more confident, and incredibly more fluent. Fluent native speakers often purposely use simple sentences because true fluency is clarity, not complexity. Complexity means making things dark, heavy, and extremely difficult to understand. Many learners proudly try to intensely learn advanced vocabulary, hard grammar rules, and complex sentence structures completely before they can speak basic English comfortably. It is exactly like trying to run a long, exhausting marathon before you have even learned to walk properly. First, you must deeply build strong basics, and only then do you slowly and patiently add complexity, not the opposite. If you want to immediately sound fluent with simple English, just use this brilliant, easy structure. Start with one simple sentence. Add one extra sentence. Add one clear example. That's it. For example, I am learning English at home. I practice every day for 1 hour. For example, I speak alone and record my voice weekly. This sounds beautifully fluent, not because of big, heavy words, but precisely because of a smooth, logical structure. Deep down in your mind, confidence is not just a bright, happy feeling. Confidence is actually comfort. When you actively choose simple English, you feel completely safe. You feel totally in control of your mouth. You don't panic, and you don't freeze in terrible fear. That gentle calmness makes you sound incredibly fluent. Many learners have the vocabulary, but they severely lack the comfort. Simple English successfully builds that comfort first. To build this comfort safely at home, use daily life topics. Talk calmly about things you already deeply know: your morning routine, your loving family, your future plans, your big goals, your daily problems, and your honest opinions. You absolutely don't need complicated, heavy topics at the beginning of your journey. You deeply need speaking control. Use short, crystal clear sentences. Instead of bravely attempting one long sentence, forcefully use 2 short ones. Long sentences inevitably create terrible mistakes and deep confusion. Short sentences beautifully create powerful control. You must also repeat common phrases. Fluency slowly but surely comes from heavy repetition. Learn 20 to 30 common sentence starters like "I think," "I feel," "in my opinion," "I want to," "I need to," and "I don't agree." These specific phrases are remarkably simple, but they are incredibly powerful. They actively help you speak smoothly anywhere. Native speakers use simple English most of the time. They absolutely don't speak like dry, boring textbooks. They speak like real life. If you confidently speak simple English clearly, you will sound far more natural than someone eagerly using heavy vocabulary with painful hesitation. Natural speaking is the real, ultimate fluency. The final goal is to sound quietly confident. Smart English without any confidence sounds terribly weak. Simple English packed with quiet confidence sounds intensely powerful. That is exactly why simple English always wins. Here is your golden rule for speaking at home. If you cannot say a sentence smoothly in just 2 seconds, it is entirely too complex. Simplify it immediately. Say it easily first. Then slowly and patiently add advanced words later. Fluency is built carefully, step by step. When you deeply focus on simple English for 30 days, you completely stop hesitating. You stop painfully translating so much in your head. You start forming beautiful sentences automatically. You suddenly feel confident speaking alone. You finally feel ready to speak boldly in public because you built a strong, unbreakable foundation. And a strong foundation always creates incredibly fast growth. We have built your routine, we have structured your 60 minutes, and we have simplified your words. Now, we have reached the final trick in our journey. Trick 8. Record yourself. This is the absolute fastest way to thoroughly fix your speaking right at home. When you learn English bravely at home, you face one very big, hidden problem. The problem is that you simply don't know how you actually sound. In your quiet mind, you happily think you spoke very well. You imagine your voice sounding perfectly smooth. But in real life, when you open your mouth, your voice may actually be too fast, too low, entirely unclear, or painfully full of awkward pauses. A pause is a long, uncomfortable silence when you forget a word, and because you genuinely cannot hear yourself properly while you are speaking, you blindly repeat the exact same mistakes again and again. Recording yourself instantly fixes that dangerous cycle. It directly gives you something most isolated learners never get at home: clear feedback. Feedback is a very important word. It means receiving honest, direct information about how well you are doing, so you can clearly see your flaws and rapidly improve. With a simple voice recording, there is no guessing, there is no imagination, and there are no lies. There is only real, undeniable proof of your current ability. Proof is the cold hard fact that shows you exactly what is true. By listening to this proof every single week, you slowly become your own perfect guide, correcting your pronunciation and watching your fluency grow. As we reach the beautiful end of this long educational journey, let me warmly tell you something deeply important. Look around the world of language learning. You don't need a big, crowded classroom. You don't need incredibly expensive courses that cost a lot of money. You absolutely don't need perfect, quiet conditions to start your journey. What you truly need is quiet, unbending discipline. Discipline is the ultimate secret to success. It means doing exactly what you promised yourself you would do, even when you feel extremely tired or completely unmotivated. You deeply need strong structure. You need powerful daily action. If you beautifully combine discipline, structure, and daily action, magic will begin to happen in your life. Your small, quiet room can miraculously become your classroom. Your own honest voice can firmly become your greatest teacher. Your simple, everyday phone can completely become your dedicated practice partner. Take a deep breath and look closely at your life. Everything you intensely need to succeed is already right around you. The powerful tools for fluency are waiting quietly in your own hands. The only important question left in this entire journey is this: will you boldly use it? Thank you for walking through this incredible learning experience with me today. Believe deeply in your daily routine, intensely trust in your structure, and never ever stop speaking. Have a wonderful, peaceful day, and I will safely see you in the next lesson.